What if the very reason you don't feel qualified is the very reason God chose you? Think about that for a moment. Throughout Scripture, God has never waited for people to feel ready before He used them. In fact, God seems to specialize in calling people we would disqualify today. People who felt inadequate, afraid, uncertain, or unseen. Moses told God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" And "I am slow of speech." Yet God still sent him to confront the most powerful ruler of his time. Gideon said, "My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my family," but God called him a mighty warrior anyway. Jeremiah said, "I am only a youth," and God replied, "Do not say, 'I am only a youth,' for you shall go to all to whom I send you." And it didn't stop there. David was overlooked by his own family. Esther was an orphan. Ruth was a foreigner. Mary asked, "How can this be?" Peter denied Jesus. Paul persecuted the church. Yet God used every single one of them to accomplish His purposes. Why? Because God does not call based on confidence. He calls based on purpose. Scripture reminds us in 1 Corinthians 1 that God chooses the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, and the weak things to shame the strong. In other words, God is not waiting for you to feel confident before He uses you. Confidence is something He develops after you say yes. That's where Call to Confident comes in. This course is designed for people who know God has called them to preach, to teach, to disciple, to witness, to lead, but still wrestle with fear, insecurity, or hesitation. It's for those who love God deeply but feel unsure when it's time to step forward. Call to Confident is not about hype or pretending you're fearless. It's about learning how God builds confidence through truth, obedience, and identity rooted in Him. 2 Timothy tells us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That confidence doesn't come from personality, it comes from formation. So let me ask you again, what if your lack of confidence is not disqualification, but an invitation for God to show His strength through you? If God has been stirring something in your heart, this may be your next step. Learn more about Call to Confident using the link provided. And remember, calling is God's responsibility. Confidence is part of your stewardship.